we're going to learn how to put the two notes together. And the trick here is that I think it's all about pivoting with the left arm so that you're not bumping a string that you should be not bumping. So say you want to play A and D string, and then you say you want to play D string first finger, and when you put your 1 down, if you're bumping open A, you'll hear a good 1 on the D, but your A may make noise. You get squeaks, and you get a lot of those squeaks here. So what I want you to do, stay in the middle third of the bow. Now here, pull your elbow, this is 118, pull your elbow to your right, so you have slightly changed the angle so the fingers are coming up and over, right here. And I try and be nice and steep with my fingertips. If I'm coming in this way, I'm guaranteed to lay across it. Okay, so now you look at 119, you have this triple stop, or 3 notes on the first eighth. It's this. And what we're going to try and do is play the bottom 2 notes, and then roll our bow over and play the middle and the top 2 notes. This is all in the first eighth note. So if I back up a measure, let's see, here. This, that's what we're trying to do. So I don't want to hear A by itself. I want to hear that A with the E. So I leave my 1 on G string and D string, and I bow across. Now we don't want to get too far up the bow because we have to string cross. So you do a stop and then go up bow. Make sense? So let's back up. Pull your elbow. Cover D and G string with your 1. String cross, don't go too far in the down bow. Roll and go up bow. And when you string cross, make sure that you don't lift your 1 before you've gotten your bow off the D string. You don't want to hear that. So coordinate the bow change and the lifting of the first finger right there. Now we get to piano. Okay. I want you to, for those of you that are already doing vibrato, you might say, well, right now no vibrato, because I'm gonna listen to my octave. I don't want to cover it up with just vibrato. So, okay, and we add piano and a slur. This is part 121. So the up bow has to be the same amount of bow that you used on the slur, the 2/8 notes on the down bow. So if you don't use the same amount of bow, you won't have the right bow distribution and you'll work your way towards the tip. So you can actually let it come off the string. I would do all this eventually off at the frog, but so there's a little hop right here. Little hop. Same trick with the triple stop, but you have to add the slur. Down. So that's a little tricky. Now, the double stop at 125, D sharp and A, open A. That one's an awkward, dissonant sounding. If you're too high, too low, you gotta find the spot where the D sharp rings best. And what happens is almost every one of my students will pull their hand back like this to reach the low 1, and then when they go to reach 2, it's now flat. And what you want the 2 to be high enough. And it should feel like a whole step space, but across 2 strings. I'm at 125. And then again, this one should feel like a whole step. It's the C to A. Okay, so up, get back to the starting point. Now you make your 1 touch your 2, and you get your 2 out of the way. should be a good, perfect fourth, nice and ringing. That's the B and E at the end of 126. Then you have to pull your 1 back. But when you do it, again, don't let your 2 go flat. If you have to pull your, I mean, one of the things I try and teach kids is to do this. But if you have to pull it a little bit from here, then you have to open your hand pattern. So you keep it on both strings, and you add this upper notes and nice high 1. Now we have a crescendo. Okay, so while you're playing this, use more bow. Nice high G sharp, regular G natural. Back out a little bit, mezzo forte. I want to really hear. So the low 1 is just an accompanying note. This is what must be in tune. Okay? Once you own this and you really play it well technically, then definitely you must put vibrato on it. You're sitting on these notes for a long time. It'll be a lot more interesting and beautiful if you add it. Okay, so now I'm at, let's see, 138. You have D, open D on the bottom, low 2 for C natural, and you have to pop that 2 out of the way to play the open A and F sharp. I've actually known some teachers that say, well, just don't play open A, leave the 2 down the whole time. And it works, actually. It simplifies it, but that's at 138. But that's not what Seitz wrote, so we're going to lift it out. Now we have these grace notes, D and G. Those have to happen really fast. It's almost like they don't, I mean, they can't be there like that, or else you're going to be late. So we're at 139. And you know, when you hit that octave right here, the 1 and 4. Now also, as I'm coming down this pattern, I make sure my 1 is covering both strings, because we're going to need it. At 139 on the 5th, 8th note, right there, I covered it up. And then you have to keep your 1 on the lower, but get rid of it on the E. So swing your elbow. Swing your elbow a little bit to get it out of the way. Right there. Now, when I do these fifths, fifth is the interval, I put my 1, I kind of catch, I'm going to put a groove in my finger, you can see it. I try and catch the left corner with the lower string, so that when I come across, I'm at this angle. But sometimes, if it's out of tune, it can help if you flatten this knuckle just a little bit. I don't mean like this, just the tiniest bit. It helps give it a broader surface. There am I. There am I. Let's see. Right here. Cover both. And then, perfect 4th on top. If your 1, say your 5th on the bottom is a little sharp, then this will sound bad. So you can't adjust your 1 when you go to the open D on top. You want it to ring really smoothly. Okay? This is hard stuff. Once you can manage all of that just with a nice on the string stroke in the middle, then you can start doing spiccato. And make it interesting. Crescendo. Add some vibrato. get the idea. Okay, so good luck with this. This is tricky.